So hey guys, yesterday we built a splash screen that lasts 6 minutes, 6 seconds. So now we're going to be building a progress bar that you see in maybe games, maybe in applications where there's a loading bar, and after a few seconds the progress bar eventually loads up. So to do that we must understand one thing: we need something to tell when the animation will start and when the animation will stop and everything about it. So for that we have to create an animation controller, and and to tell how what's the duration of it and what's the how the animation is going to be, we'll call something called animation. So why double, I'll tell you why after certain time. So we'll be just calling animate. So we did the init state yesterday, so we just have to call animation controller. So now vsync, what is vsync? It makes sure that the animation only runs when we are in the current screen, we are in the same screen. So the duration will be same as what we get from splash screen to home screen duration, because otherwise it won't sync well. So now this will be always an error when we add vsync, because we have to add single ticket of state provider state mixin. So this is done. So we use double, that is because we will be using something called tween. Tween is just uh, a value that's gonna move from 0 to 1. So it is in double because 0 0.0 to 1. So here it always has begins and ends. So begins at 0 0.0. You can give 0.52, but progress bar will start from a half. So that is the main thing. So let's take a screen. So in the screen, this end is 0, this end is 1. So if you add 0.5, it starts from the center. So we have to use animation property, which will be using curd animation. The parent is controller, and the curve maybe curve dot is in, is out. Yeah, is in will be fine, I believe. So now we have to use something which I almost forgot. So controller dot forward, otherwise the animation won't move. So it just tells that animation should move. So after creating this, we have to create one more override function. Override the dis. So, sorry. So overriding the dispose. So what dispose does? Well, just think that it will act like a cleanup. Whatever you give there, it will act like a cleanup and better memory efficient. So something like that. So dispose is added. So now let's come to the UI part, the fun part. We don't need, okay, we need center, but we do not need text. We need columns because we'll be putting two columns. We'll be putting a few elements under it. So let's just call a text, and let's just style it a little bit, not too much, so just that it looks neat at least. So let's just give a blue accent so it really looks neat. So after column, after the text, we will be using stack. So now to understand why we have to stack is something that is going to be putting one element upon the another. So when there is a progress bar, so understand that this is a progress bar, and there is a foreground and a background. Background remains the same color, the foreground just fills it up, so that is how it looks like a progress bar. So now in the stack we need to create a background first, which is again a container that has height, I can keep 12, and let's keep a color in a box decoration. Let's keep a color of it as gray, because it goes well with our design, I believe. So it can also have a border radius, but let's not just keep anything as of now. We can always style it later. So the background is done. So now comes the animation builder. So animated builder. So animated builder will call animate, which we have defined here. So builder will have a context child, which I will define. Yeah. So now we are going to be returning a foreground. So what is foreground? Foreground is again a container, because the background is there. Foreground must have same kind of property here, height 12, and we'll be using same box decoration here too. Nothing special, but I think I did mention one thing. So what we are using here is the time that it takes from progress bar to move from 0 to 1. So we have to add it in the width. So in the width we call animate dot value, so whatever the value is 0.0, it's gonna come, and we're gonna multiply it with the actual width of the screen. So as I told you, if there is a screen, this is 0.0, this is 1.0. To know how much distance it should travel or something, we're going to be calling a media query that is total width. Now I think, instead of, so the color is done, but we're gonna be calling a gradient because it looks nice. Like original color is gray, but the gradient eventually when it fills up, so it is going to look neat. So I'll be just calling blue accent, and the second color we'll be calling blue accent, light blue accent. So now the gradient is done. We have to call when it begins. So it begins when in the center left, and it ends in the center right. So I think this is done for now. So now all I have to do is another text called loading, but that won't be necessary. So let's see how the output is going to be. So I think we didn't make it in center, so it won't be available in center. Okay, so you can see that this taking a too much of space here, and it is not in center. So let us just quickly fix it by main axis, and let us give it a padding. Let's call it 33, and we didn't add any border radius or something, so it is not going to be looking so much neat, but you can always make it better from your UI skills. This is just how it works. So have to add a side box and loading here, so it's gonna take some time, and it is going to move to the splash to the home screen. So that is it, guys. Thank you.